Welcome, everyone. I am Mo from Mo in the Deep End, and there is Fry from sleeping as usual. And let me zoom in on him so we don't see all the laundry baskets and shoes that he's managed to, bring to his general area because, we are in the process of getting all the laundry done. So we have all the outfits ready for school tomorrow. Since, yes, amen, praise Jesus, school is starting tomorrow. Now you will hear opposite prayers from my children who are like, no, school starts back tomorrow. No, please, dear God, make school canceled for tomorrow. Welcome, Eris. Thank you for doing all the motley things that you do. And Christine, I hope you're having a wonderful January the 2nd. Hello, reindeer and little peanut and Wolfram. Your son is always sleeping. He can never learn the dark side. Good morning, MLS and AC's Wildflower. Apparently 2024. Oh, thank you, Lexi. Good morning, Slinky. Uh, I have it a little bit darker. It was fading out, so I did a little bit darker and it will fade out soon. I'm going to do blonder highlights here at some point. Good morning, Greedy and Phoenix Fire. 2024 has decided it has understood the let's get started assignment. So, it is like, let's start off with a bang kind of thing. And unfortunately, Japan just seems to be getting all of the attention. Now, fortunately, 300, the over 300 passengers were able to make it out of this. Well, it looks like unholy fireball from like Final Destination alive. But let's read this article because Runway Inferno is what it looks like. Again, as a child of the 90s, I go with, or well, early aughts, I go with, wait, they just have the live footage. Are you kidding me, you ding dongs? But honest to goodness, I mean, it looks like Final Destination. There are reasons I will never drive behind a loaded lumber truck. I have seen the movies. I will not do it. Good morning, my Mini 67. Oh, you know what? That does look, I'm not gonna lie, that sounds like heaven if you have a wood-burning fireplace somewhere in your house and you're just cozied up with a cup of tea or hot chocolate or coffee. But if you have to go anywhere, that sounds, well, it doesn't sound as great. But let's get to the burning fire of airplane. A passenger airplane carrying nearly 400 people burst into a ball of fire at Tokyo Airport on Tuesday when it collided with a Coast Guard jet, killing at least 5 crew members, taking aid to victims of a deadly earthquake. So, while I am terribly sad for the crew that didn't make it out alive, I am glad that at least 300 people were able to make it out alive because seeing the footage and if they hadn't put it in bold on the, um, headline, I would have assumed there were no survivors. The horrifying video showed Japan Airlines plane suddenly burst into flames after touching down at Haneda International Airport, with the fireball spreading across the runway as it came to a stop. 5 crew members on the Coast Guard plane died while their captain was critically injured, officials told NHK. All 379 people in the passenger plane managed to escape, despite the jet becoming fully engulfed. However, at least 17 passengers were injured. Oh, you grew up in Maine and lumber trucks were a nightmare before the movie? Yikes. Greedy, that's hilarious. I'm not gonna read that one. Sal, I'm definitely not putting that one up. But I am laughing, which means we are all making our place In purgatory, I hope that one of us at least brings fun snacks. Quote, the entire cabin was filled with smoke. Within a few minutes, Swedish passenger Anton DB, 17, told, I'm going to say Aftonbladet, look, duct tape and holy water takes no responsibility for how our hosts pronounce things they can't read. Good morning, JKD Buck. So, yeah, I mean, honest to goodness, looking at these pictures, it is just a total miracle that anyone got out alive. I mean, had I seen these pictures, I would have completely thought everyone was just, it was the Hindenburg 2.0. And I would have shouted, oh, the humanity. Quote, we threw ourselves down on the floor. The emergency doors were opened and we threw ourselves at them. Quote, the smoke in the cabin stung like hell. It was hell, added DB, who was traveling with his parents and sister. Footage and images shared on social media showed passengers shouting inside the smoke-filled cabin and running across the tarmac away from the evacuation slide. Quote, I felt a boom and like we had hit something and jerked upward the moment we landed, a passenger on JLA flight told Kyoto News Agency. I saw sparks outside the window and the cabin filled with gas and smoke. Oh my goodness, Ghostery, that Japan Airlines passenger recorded from inside the plane. Good morning, Peter A. Yeah, I mean, I am terribly sad that the crew that was helping people passed away. And for those families, I pray that they find what little comfort can be had that their families passed away, trying to help other people. If they can find comfort in that when they're grieving. And I am glad that other people got out because this is just amazing that anyone got out of this. Japanese Prime Minister Fukimo Kishida instructed relevant agencies to coordinate and assess the damage according to his office. Haneda, one of Tokyo's two main airports, closed all runways following the incident, a spokesperson said. Salvador, I'm not putting that up. Sal, I am trying to be semi-professional. The Coast Guard aircraft was en route to the Niigata airport to deliver aid to those caught up in a powerful earthquake that struck New Year's Day, killing at least 48 people, military officials said. So hopefully those they can get honors. Look, I am fully gonna tell y'all, I have no idea what kind of honors or Purple Heart or Medal of Honor you can get in Japan, but I do believe that everyone on that plane should get an honor or some kind of recognition for the service that they did and passing away in service for their country, in trying to aid during a terrible, terrible tragedy. And I am so sorry, at Mimsy, my mini, sorry, 6'7". English, it's my first and only language, and I barely can work it. It's amazing. My Mini 67, I was working at Manchester Airport in 1985, and 55 died in a fireball. I am so sorry. That must have been just awful to watch. And knowing you can't do anything to help, that just helplessness is just, it's an awful, just sinking feeling. Good morning, Fedorowski. And then, just to top that, because 2024 is like, hold my beer 2023, you haven't seen Dumpster Fire yet. A former reporter agrees prank was legendary at Sal. Yes. A car filled with, explosive barrels into crowd, leaving Rochester rock concert, unaliving two people in possible domestic terrorism, police report. A couple was killed and numerous others injured just hours into New Year's when a car filled with explosives barreled into a crowd of people, leaving a rock concert in upstate New York, police said. Now, this is really odd to me. Oh, and you guys, if you need, look, 2024 seems to have understood the assignment and is coming out of the gates hot, fresh, and in a hurry. So if you need to relax, if you need to de-stress, Fed has the most wonderful, relaxing beautiful scenery videos, and they're wonderfully edited, and he knows how to do the editing things and the scenery things. So I highly recommend going to his channel. If anyone that mods for me can put his little channel doohickey in the feed, that would be super wonderful. I, Dennis Heaton, I only control myself half the time, and my mouth only 10% of the time, so I have no idea. The fiery crash occurred at 12:50 a.m. outside the Kodiak Center in Rochester, where roughly 1,000 people were filing out after New Year's Eve Mo show. Rochester officers were helping pedestrians cross the street when a Ford Expedition sped toward the mob, but crashed instead into an Uber that was pulling out of a nearby parking lot, law enforcement sources said. Quote, the force of the collision caused the two vehicles to go through a group of pedestrians that were in a crosswalk, then into two other vehicles, Police Chief David Smith said at a press conference. The cars exploded into an intense blaze that took the fire department nearly 1 hour to extinguish. Now, this does seem. Fry is getting huge. I don't know what he is eating because he is very finicky with his food. He wants, uh, you know, oh, well, Fed, you need to tell me these things before I hype you up as a Relaxamaxin channel. Damn it. uh, this does seem a little odd because the last sort of car that was not a bomb was, right near the Niagara Falls thing. And I know that turned out to be, did we ever actually get, kind of circle back news as to what that was? I know it was a medical emergency. Look, I'm not gonna go full Dale Gribble, but New York seems to be getting like a couple of these, unnamed car issues. I'm just saying, I am very sorry to the couple that lost their life. No one should go to a concert and end up losing their life because idiots decide to believe in something, regardless of what the ideology is. No one should believe in something enough to exploderate someone else. It's just dumb. If you can't, get someone to your side by your words, then yeah, I don't understand why Rochester. I don't understand any of this. And I'm getting a little tired that we still haven't gotten answers on so many of these things. Vegas. Have we ever gotten answers about Vegas? Are they just gonna, never give us answers? I mean, have it's now the second. Have we gotten any names yet? I mean, Bill Clinton, my shock. You're right, Fedorowski. Losing your life tends to be annoying and a nuisance in general. All the paperwork is quite upsetting. It does, it just, I am Ted Kaczynski is dead, and we will not get a manifesto. Grady bloke, a little too soon, but all possibilities, I'm sure, will be investigated. The driver who tried to mow down the crowd was transported to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. He died of his injuries around 8 p.m. Monday and was identified as Michael Avery. They didn't give him a middle name, so you know he's... And they don't have his picture, which I find interesting. Usually, if, he is of a certain, you know, narrative building persuasion, they usually have pictures all up and, everywhere. And this is, totally extremisms and all the isms and oh my gosh, only in Cheeto Man's America. So I don't know. It just... After the fire was extinguished, investigators found at least a dozen gasoline canisters scattered across the pavement and inside the expedition, according to Smith. The incident is being investigated as possible domestic terrorism. Avery from Syracuse had rented a hotel room in Rochester where police conducted a search and recovered a self-deletion note and journal, according to law enforcement sources. I wonder how soon this manifesto will be published or not published. For any clues into the attack, and interviewed family members who said they believe the suspect had bipolar depression, though he was never officially diagnosed, the sources said. Authorities are planning to conduct a search of a storage unit that belonged to Avery in North Syracuse as well. The homicidal driver rented an extra-large SUV before heading to the concert venue, law enforcement told sources with ABC News. Well, the note was at the hotel room or the Airbnb, so it wasn't at the driver. Quote, obviously, I would have liked to have been standing at the podium to deliver a Happy New Year and smile and say good news, but unfortunately today we don't have any good news because we have several individuals whose families' lives are changed because they will not be here to bring in 2024, Mayor Malik Evans said. Members of Mo, the Buffalo-based rock band who had been playing the show at the music venue before the incident, said they were left with profound shock and sadness. It was the second night in a row the band had played at the Kodiak Center to ring in the new year. Quote, on a night that was meant for celebration and togetherness, we were faced instead with a tragedy that defies understanding, Mo said in a statement. Take care of yourselves and each other as we navigate this time together. Good morning. Hey, Joe. So what does strike me about this is that, okay, and stick with me because look, he got gasoline instead of other things that you can use, sort of the Timothy McVeigh thing. So this looks like it was maybe not planned as long as sort of a Tim McVeigh sort of thing. So, was this something that was a more recent sort of turn of mental health? Was this something that was, more of a life change thing and not a deep-seated anti-government thing? What are we going to be told? That's something else that I want to kind of see, because the gasoline sort of makes me think that this was a more short-term planning thing versus a long-term planning thing and a sciencing thing that was a sort of more of an Oklahoma thing. Not that both are bad. I am in no way. So yes, that is what they are alleging. Now, I don't see a photo of Michael Avery as far as I can tell. So I don't know, what persuasion he is. I don't know any kind of what his beliefs are. His parents are saying that he struggled with mental health, but they don't have any official diagnoses. So I don't know what we're kind of leaning towards at this time, but it's definitely interesting that you do have two kind of incidents fairly close. I mean, within 6 months of each other in New York. We haven't really gotten closure on the one around Niagara Falls near the border, other than it was a health issue. And again, if it was a health issue, I certainly don't want to, be tinfoiling and rip the scab and hurt the family in any way. But then I feel like we need to be told. I feel like we never get closure on these things. We still haven't learned about Las Vegas. Heck, it's just a lot of things. It feels like we get, 24/7, how is Orange Cheeto Man going to destroy the world? And we don't get answers to questions that we really have. In other news, y'all, we need to start looking at these type of guys. Biologists have labeled them, and I will label them, the sneaky effers. These are the nice guy killers. You Belong With Me, a man allegedly posed as his ex-wife, stalked and harassed her for months before killing her. And look at this guy. I mean, you would never think he's the nice guy. He's the try guy, sort of low test kind of, office dude looking guy that, seems to be responsible for the most douchey behavior, because most of the try guys seems to have cheated on their wives for some reason. And I'm looking at all the try guys and I'm like, who the hell, two women wanted you at the same time? Dos women wanted you at the same time? You had one woman locked down. You should have been. Look, the try guys annoy the hell out of me. So I'm just having a rant. But I have been seeing here lately a lot of, nice looking guys, like the quintessential kind of insurance salesman-y, nice, accountanty guys getting away with almost getting away with certain things. And I'm like, nope, we need to start calling this out. If he looks like he's selling insurance, he's probably guilty. Don't be afraid of the weird looking guy. It's the insurance salesman. I'm gonna be the only person on one of those, 48 hours. Everyone's gonna like, he was a nice guy. I'm gonna be like, nope. I always thought he was gonna kill someone. Ma'am, why? Well, he looked too nice. I'm a firm believer in the sneaky fucker theory. Ma'am, you can't say that on television. No, ma'am, I totally no. Something about him always struck me as shifty. Why? Well, he just looked too nice. I don't believe in nice. He just struck me as too nice. Ma'am, we can't have you on. No, you need me on. I was the only one who knowed it. I knowed it right away. They're gonna be like, ma'am, we can't have you on. A 43-year-old father in Colorado has been arrested for allegedly killing his 43-year-old wife, posing as her ex-boyfriend to stalk and harass her for several months. Sir, straight to Snake Island, and you're not going to look, you're going to be voted off the island very quickly. Before beating and stabbing her to death inside her family home. Daniel Bartholomew Krug. Ew. He looks like the kind of guy. Look, you know what I want to do to him? Like, I have a feeling this would really bother him. I want to go into his cell, and I bet he has his toothpaste rolled up real, you know, organized like, and I just want to push it from the middle and squeeze it all out just because I know that would bother him. I'm guessing he was really type A. I just want to like squeeze all of his toothpaste out and rub it all over the sink. You know, things that my kids do that bother me. Was taken into custody last month and charged with 1 count of first-degree murder. After deliberation, 1 count of criminal impersonation, and 2 counts of stalking in the brutal slaying of Crystal Krug, authorities announced. According to the Broomfield Police Department, officers on December 14th responded to a call requesting a welfare check on an individual at a residence. I'm not going to give their address, which is about 20 miles north of Denver. The police was called just before, or the call was placed just before 1 p.m. by Daniel Krug. I don't know how many people. Well, no, look, if I really wanted to bother him, look, I would see, here's what I would do if I was the head of a prison. Okay, this is how I would emotionally bother people, because I am an introvert. And look, I can just tell you, if I had access to every person that I had a trial that I covered, I would put this gentleman in with Darrell Brooks, and I'd let Darrell Brooks just talk to him for hours and hours. And I have a feeling that this would break this gentleman. Like, if I had the ability to make roommates that would bother each other, like I put Sarah Boone in with Donna Adelson. Actually, I'd put Darrell Brooks in with Joel Guy Jr., because they would hurt each other the most. Joel Guy Jr. wouldn't respond to anything Darrell would say, and Darrell, would just talk and talk, and that would annoy the heck out of Joel Guy Jr., so they would both be irritated to death of each other. But this is why I am not a warden, because I would not make good choices based on mental health of others. I would make choices based on the punishment and the cruelty of, these things. Upon arriving at the address, first responders located an adult female victim, later identified as Crystal Krug, in the home's garage. She appeared to be suffering from blunt force trauma injuries and stab wounds. Dude, never call the crime when you did the crime. Unless you are a grade A actor, you are no Amber Heard, sir, I'm sure. Emergency personnel transported her to a local hospital. Tragically, Crystal Krug succumbed to her injuries and was pronounced dead. Investigators say there was no sign of struggle or forced entry, and Crystal Krug's concealed sidearm was still on her person, indicating she was either ambushed or knew her attacker. Police later announced that Daniel Krug was taken into custody on December 16th and charged with his wife's murder. He almost had the perfect crime. He just forgot about VPNs and, like all the crime shows and everything. According to the authorities, believe that prior to Crystal Krug's murder, Daniel Krug spent months pretending to be his wife's former boyfriend, sending her threatening text messages and emails in an attempt to pin her slaying on another man. Welcome, Ghost, or welcome, Kim. Yeah, what in the actual heck? And Jude, I think you're up here somewhere. But yes, I am tired of I'm sick of bipolar being used as an excuse to be evil. People with real bipolar will not seek help. Fear of being treated like a killer, even in the ER when it's supposed to be safe. Yeah, look, there's the thing. I mean, people with mental health struggles don't want to be labeled. Look, it's not a crutch. It's not something. Regardless of whatever you carry, you still make a choice to do something wrong. I don't like it. being used as this, like, okay, I suffered from postpartum depression. Whatever I did when I had it was still something I made a choice to do. So if I, was sad and I cried, that was still something I chose to do, and I chose to seek help for it and got some help. But these women who go out and do these ridiculous things. Now, I will say Andrea Yates is a totally other, she had psychosis in which you cannot step outside of that. But Jude has a really good point. You there is mental health for which you can make a choice and you can get better, and people that use it as a crutch and make it seem like they don't have any choices, that is really sickening and maddening because it trivializes other people that really have it, that work hard and want it to just be seen as something, yes, I deal with, but it's just a teeny tiny part. It's the same thing that the reason I don't tell everyone I have CRPS, because I don't want people to see the CRPS first and then Mo later. I want you to see Mo and then see a little teeny tiny part of me is the CRPS. And yes, it might affect certain things that I do, but it's just a teeny tiny part of me. It's not my entire personality. Yeah, it's not all that you are. It's did did he watch the Mark Jensen trial? Does he have a file of peens? Sal, we must explore this a little more. We might have a new peen file. According to the probable cause affidavit obtained by the Daily Camera, Crystal Krug and the ex-boyfriend dated for about a year before breaking up in 2000. She told investigators that he had contacted her a few times since then with occasional crude messages and sexual propositions, but nothing she had been particularly worried about. Holy shit, Sal, he had a peen log, no doubt. We are totally watching this. On October 31st, 2023, however, Crystal Krug reportedly filed a police report claiming that the ex-boyfriend, who police now suspect was actually Daniel Krug, had been escalating in his offensive behavior, sending her messages asking her to hook up and telling her to unalive herself before sending her an email offering to unalive Daniel Krug. The latter email included a photo of Daniel Krug in a parking lot at his place of employment. From November 1st through December 14th, Daniel Krug allegedly posed as the ex-boyfriend and sent additional 8 messages to his wife. One of those messages reportedly stated that her vehicle registration had expired, which was true, while another noted that she went to the dentist on November 9th, which she had. Good night. A November 13th message reportedly said, quote, "You belong with me. I'll get rid of him and then we can be together. They'll let me park and walk right into his place of work, give me the signal, and he won't come home." But evidence soon began to indicate that Daniel Krug had something to do with his wife's murder, cops allege. Yeah, basically all the evidence. This man was not subtle. Good Lord. Detective, he might as well just given them a big old sign and wore a t-shirt that said, "I did the crime," and all I got was his stupid t-shirt and a conviction. The hell, dude. I mean, you could have at least watched Forensic Files and, oh, y'all, tangent engaged. But during my latest flare, I had to watch Forensic Files on YouTube, and these sweet little Gen Zs who didn't realize that this was a show in the 90s were like, "Oh my God, this channel does great production value and they have really good reenactors." And you could see the souls dying in the Gen Xers who had to explain to the people that, um, dear children, there used to be this thing called cable, and you would shove this cable into the ass end of your television. And we just had phones. These used to look like this, and you use them only to call people. And if you wanted to do something like go out, you left a note like this, and you just left the house, and your mom could call you, and you took a quarter, and you had like a beeper. And if you had a beeper and your friend had a beeper, well, people either assumed you did drugs or you were cool. And then, like your first friend to get text messages, you had to be in there 5. And if you were kicked out of someone's 5, it was a big deal. And then you got unlimited like nights and weekends. It was a trip. Any hoozle. Back to the story. Detectives at the scene noticed that the home's doorbell camera had recently been taped over, and 3 of the 4 security cameras had mysteriously been turned off the day Crystal Krug's death. Sir, you could have worn a ski cap or something. You could have gone full Kato Kalin for damn sake. Oh, at Mo in the Deep End, FYI, bipolar disorder has type 2, where we never get manic, we get hypomanic, and think it, but don't act out. ER meds, or ERMDs should know better. No one sees the type 2 part. I'm sorry, it is maddening to have something, a medical condition, I am learning, and to have to educate doctors about it. It is quite maddening, to have to be your own medical advocate, to people that are in that you assume know things and they don't. It's quite enlightening but disheartening at the same time, because you have to be your own advocate, so you get to learn things, and I love learning things, but it is disheartening in that you really hope that the people that you think have this knowledge would know, and they don't. And they just look at you like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, that's good to know. I thought maybe someone would know. I'm glad my insurance is paying you something. Thank you so much. I am constantly amazed at the walks of others. I will say that the people that I have met through here, I I will say I was initially very scared to kind of tell my story. I didn't know if anyone would really want to hear me babble on about how I fell walking with a startled deer, because, you know, only I would be startled by a deer and maybe go on a revengeing at some point. My new tags come in soon, which I'm so excited about, but I get to redo everything, and I've got a new pen that is awesome, so we are all good. But it's been so amazing and eye-opening to see how many other people have kind of walked this walk and what's helped them. And it's it's saddening in one aspect to see how many people have to walk this walk, but it was very comforting to see that other people are walking this walk, because it is very lonely at the beginning. You're like kind of in your own little island. And this man is going to be in his own little island all alone, and he does look kind of like he's going to be someone's wife. I don't know that he's going to get the street cred. I don't know that he's going to be, you know, no- notorious accountant, you know, LG. He's just, I don't know that he's going to get all the street cred. But seemingly the most damaging evidence came when the investigators learned that the IP address used to send the messages and emails to Kristen Krug originated from public Wi-Fi at Daniel Krug's place of employment. Sir, for the love of all that is holy, you couldn't use a VPN? Authorities said they also learned that the ex-boyfriend had been in Utah at the time of Crystal Krug's death. Additionally, Crystal Krug's mother reportedly told authorities that her daughter was planning to divorce the husband, who was sometimes rough with the kids. Crystal was reportedly planning on using photographic evidence of their injuries to seek full custody. A GoFundMe campaign for the couple's children has raised more than $43,600 on Monday morning. While speaking to investigators, Daniel Krug reportedly denied having any involvement with his wife's slaying. What was he like? Surprise Pikachu face? My wife? I barely knew her. She died? I mean, I would be sweating like an unpure woman in church if I had done as bad a job as him. They'd have got... Following a bond hearing, a judge ordered him to be held on $5 million bond. He is scheduled to appear for his preliminary hearing in February. His lawyer is like, all right, so why did you pretend to be your wife's ex and put a hit out on yourself? So you're telling me the facts of this case are you pretended to put a hit out on your... You sabotaged the Ring doorbell camera, did you? You attacked... They have the... You use your own damn Wi-Fi? Oh, for heaven... Oh, for... Real... We're gonna have to see if there's a plea deal. I go to the dentist at 12:50, so I don't know that we are going to have a nightly newsy news. It's my first time using the nitrous oxide or whatever gas stuff. Have a wonderful day, BL Blazy. Be safe and careful out there. So, if you feel... Oh, apparently a family member also set up a Give Send Go page to help Daniel Krug raise money for his legal defense, asserting that he's innocent. They claim that an evil person still remains at large who stalked and killed Crystal Krug. Look, as much as I like to Dale Gribble, I don't think that the one-armed man is gonna be going there. But I'd love to see you face off with Tommy Lee. The family, I always feel... I know it's bad, but I always feel sad for the family of the person that did it, because generally the family is just a good family who has a person who screwed up big time. And what do you do with that? It's just... But, generally you don't set up a freaking GoFundMe when they have, like, the IP address where he set up his own hit. But a mother's love, you never know. I'm sure that'll come out in the court case. It looks like this might be one that Sal and I definitely have to cover, because holy crap, this is like the most current Jensen adjacent thing, and if there are any naughty photos in it, this is a Sal must watch Mo side chair kind of case. We are definitely going to have to watch this. And this is about the dumbest, like this guy didn't even watch Office Space in criming. In other scary news, Iran sent a ship to the Red Sea after the US sunk Houthi boats. So, we are just one step closer to all that fun stuff. But that's about as much as I'm going into the Mesopotamia because we have more important news. Mustard versus ketchup. Which one is better for you? I'm going to go hot sauce, but that's just me. I'm more of a mustard gal, but you know, it's situational. You got your mustard for your hamburgers and your hot dogs, and you got your ketchup for your french fries. Ranch dressing, though, beats all. I don't know what. It's situational. Ketchup and mustard are beloved toppers for burgers and hot dogs, french fries, and more, but which one's better for your health? Ketchup and mustard are two of the most popular condiments worldwide and can be added to a variety of different types of meals and dishes, said Avery Zenker, a registered dietitian with Everflex Fitness, a training center located in Canada. Well, I do know that ketchup has a bunch of sugar in it, depending on what kind you get. I don't know. I mean, look, there are some people that look, I know Sticks puts ketchup in everything, like eggs, and I look, if it floats your boat, you can have it, but n no thank you. The nutritional profiles of ketchup and mustard can vary significantly based on the types and quantities of ingredients used. Despite the varying nutritional specs of ketchup and mustard, there's still some general intel about the popular condiments worth considering next time you consider squeezing out a dollop. Classic ketchup has tomato, vinegar, various forms of corn syrup, salt, and spices. Tina Maranceno, a registered dietitian and owner of Health Dynamics LLC in New Jersey, claims some brands kick it up with a notch with the seasonings like sriracha, jalapenos, and cayenne, she added. Jennifer House, a registered dietitian with First Steps Nutrition, said 1 tablespoon of ketchup contains 19 calories and 4 grams of sugar, about 50 milligrams of sodium. The first primary ingredient is tomatoes. You might hear that ketchup is pure sugar, said House, but sugar is actually the third ingredient in the condiment. Ingredients are typically listed in descending order by weight or volume, with the first ingredient listed having the greatest amount. While it is higher in sugar and salt than other condiments, ketchup has some nutritional benefits. I believe that Ronald Reagan tried to make ketchup a fruit and or vegetable in the 80s. Now, I heard that somewhere, and it might be an urban legend, so don't quote me on this. Uh, it is one of the best sources of lycopene, an antioxidant known to protect against prostate cancer. Well, my prostate must be protected because I love ketchup on French fries. So there you go. When I eat tater tots, my prostate is protected. I am the Napoleon Dynamite of prostate protection. Also, to whoever sends me spam email, I don't need ED help. I am fine with the length and girth of my uh erection. I don't need help with that. Could you stop sending me ads? I don't know why I receive them, but I don't need them. I need no help with them. Thank you. I, I don't need any pharmaceutical help from China, Canada, or anywhere. I But my length and girth don't cause me any stress in the bedroom, I promise. Y- y- I am confident in both, but today I went through my emails because I'd kind of been off and it was staggering. I was just like, for the love of Cheetos. I think one of my brothers might have signed me up to a thing, to be very honest. Because I was like, why? And I would rather talk to someone about my extended car warranty. And I know phrasing extended, but what the hell? I'm like, while it I wouldn't label ketchup as a vegetable like some school lunch programs of the past. Holy crap, I wasn't making that up. Okay, I thought I made that up in my head, but I didn't. I don't think it's particularly unhealthy as you often hear, said House. Other dietitians don't take as optimistic a view, given that many brands of ketchup have high levels of added sugars and sodiums. The American Heart Association recommends limiting added sugars to 25 grams per day for women and 36 grams for men. Okay, here's the skinny. Now, if you start actually looking at the nutritional value things, it takes forever to do grocery shopping. I mean, I started looking at it for carb stuff, but I mean, if you look at a couple brands and you try to get the ones with lower sugar, my problem is y'all keep changing the damn rules. Remember a couple years ago when it was, you had to eat low fat, and now it's, you should eat carnivore, but oh my God, no, you need to be a vegan, but now you got to eat crickets, and next you got to eat, maybe fasting forever is a good idea. Oh, no, but now it's fruit smoothies and maybe fasting every other day. And have you heard about cleansing and, you know, staring into the sun and, what is it? Eh, no, for the love. Yeah, I'm thinking about trying it for a month. I mean, it couldn't hurt. And I've been eating like a drunken toddler who's like chicken nuggets and gummy bears, to be real honest with you. So, I mean, it couldn't hurt. I have not been eating well, so honest to goodness, I am probably going to try the carnivore for a month just to see. Not, and I'm not going to be all in your face about it. Look, there is nothing worse than a person that wants to proselytize about what they're doing for. Look, we all have that one friend that has tried CrossFit and has never shut the hell up about CrossFit. We lost a lot of people to Zumba, I'm just saying, and Tae Bo. But I will tell you that I have found a couple chair workouts, and I will be trying them and tell you how they work out. I've just found them on YouTube, and I'll see how they work out. I am not the most coordinated. I will not be videotaping myself. Look, it is gonna be ugly. No, I have not tried CrossFit. I did like yeah, yeah, Sal. Yeah. I can't do a kip up. No. I don't want to hear about your CrossFit. I'm sure it's great that you pay $300, you know. But mustard is good. Mustard is basically just, you know, mustard seed, vinegar, salt, and spices. Um, Look, everything in moderation. Let's be real. You know what? Could we just, and oh my God, here, let's whiteboard this for just a second. And I know this will never happen because, it's logical. But let's be honest with kids and, grown-ups and everyone. not everyone's healthy is gonna be a size 4. We're not all gonna look like Judith Light in the 90s. So if it's a health curve, you know, you've got your CrossFit people over here, you've got your okay, let's call them your Walmart cart people over here. Most of us are gonna fall right between, here. So you know, between let's say 16 to 18 and 2 to well, I got that mixed up, but you know what I'm saying. And 2 to 4. And healthy can be all of this, but we can't keep telling people, that 6x, 5x, 9x, making people on the airplane, you can get 3 extra seats is great for your health. Healthy at every size isn't possible, but we could all make little steps to make ourselves more healthy. Everything is going to depend on height and weight and how your body was built. My body was not built to be, healthy at size 2 to 4. And I've made peace with that. Look, it's it's okay. You know, dad bods are okay. Let's just try to be a little bit more healthy. For the love of God, could we just all, I know 2024, this is a stretch since you're coming out hot, but could we try to just come to the middle and not act insane? Also, could we get to me to 5,000 so I could get a corgi too? Because Fry needs a friend. And Mr. Mo is like, no. And if I get to 5,000, I get to have a corgi. And I'm going to name it Aaron. And, or, you know, something from the Key and Peele. But in Oshak Hennessy. No, I'm. Mr. Mo is like, for serious, you need a corgi. And I was like, yeah, Fry needs a friend. And he's like, and of course, Griffin is like, yes, either that or I want to, well, I know Malamutes get big, but Malamute and because they're cute little fluffy puppy. But I think a corgi is good because he'll be, or one of the little St. Uh, Charles Cavalier thingies. But definitely, yes, well, Fry needs a puppy friend because he's got cat friends, but they don't like to play with him. And when their tails are wagging, that means they're getting ready to assault him. And he doesn't quite get that. No, I'm not getting a Pekingese. I might actually get a real Pomsky in theory. But Mr. Mo is like negative. So I'm like, well, if I get to 5,000, I'm getting another puppy. And he's like, well, good luck with that. And I'm like, I that's my goal this year. And he's like, good luck with that. I know. Well, that's what Fry was supposed to be. Yes, I was originally told that Fry was going to be a Pomsky. That's why he had the little, pineapple bed. He was supposed to be a very small dog because I wanted to be very mindful of my limitations as far as walking, and I did not want to, get a larger dog and, not be able to, because that's the one bad thing I feel about Fry is when I have a flare or when I'm having a bad day, I can't walk him as much. I don't have as much energy to, take him out and give him all the running and, exercise energy that I know that he needs. And the boys try to take him out, but he's a little kind of much for them. He kind of only listens to me right now, which is why he is getting training. So it it was my intention to get a smaller dog, intent, but on the hidden blessing side, if he is of the right temperament, being a larger dog with the trainer, if he is of the right temperament, he might be able to be trained to do a couple. Sarah Adams, that's dark. No, they don't. He was part of a rescue uh, litter that just got dropped off, and they were kind of guessing as to his parentage, and they guessed very, very wrong, or they outright lied. But he was a cute little boy, and you know, it is what it is. He's somewhat waking up and looking at me like I is a very cute. So, if he does have the right temperament, he can be, semi-trained as at least an at-home service dog to kind of help me for stability wise. Like when I'm having a hard time walking, he can kind of shore me up a bit instead of knocking me over. Uh, so that would be really, really, or just listening in general, um, because that would be helpful. If he could just listen in general, that would be wonderful. But yes, if I make it to 5,000, I have already told Mr. Mo that I am getting one of so we had researched like all of the different breeds that were supposed to be good for older people, and so that, we were thinking a Pomsky would be small. The best intentions with hidden blessings. So that is kind of my Moe's musing for today. You know, I definitely had the intention. Greedy bloke. I know some people that had the same problem with their wives. They thought they were going to be small and manageable. Mr. Mo knew I was mouthy and ridiculous when we started out. In fact, so we found out about our oldest son when so we basically got married at the courthouse, and we don't count that as our real marriage, and then we got married at our church. And so for the marriage at the courthouse, I don't really count it. So when the clerk said for richer or poorer, I said for richer and richer. And then she looked at me and I said, "Look, I've tried poorer. I don't want to go back there. So hard pass." And he just looked at me and I was like, "Sir, you knew what you were getting into." I mean, it was all like we knew it wasn't a real wedding or anything. So it was in this like dank basement thing, and they tried to church it up a bit with this like arch with nothing on it. So it was not the most romantical. He was in his, uniform, and they still had the stupid beret uniform, and I was like, I cannot believe I'm marrying you with a beret on. What the hell? I was like, ugh. Do you really have to wear the beret? So, yes, definitely he knew what he was getting into. But Fry is like, I is a great indoor outdoor cat. Don't neuter me. The army wishes. I don't know why they went to the beret. I have no idea what prompted that. I I'm glad they stopped it, but Mr. Mo was not amused. He definitely also wasn't amused when I made him shave his head for that little bit of time, and he had the beret. He definitely looked very French. But that is all musings for today. I will be doing some videos for the Grobes trial, and some little short musings videos. I am not sure how I will feel after the dental appointment, so there may be newsy news or there might not be newsy news tonight. If there is not, remember that there will be mornings with Mo on Wednesday, but Wednesdays are Dave's night to have legal news. It's funny that I call both Fry and Griffin the same name all the time. So I'm like, Fry, I mean, Griffin, I mean, you know who you are. Stop it. So I will try to let you guys know through both community notes and Facebook and not Facebook, X. You know what it is. I will talk to y'all later. Have a wonderful day. Say something nice to yourself. Try to be grateful for one thing a day. I am doing that with my jar and also writing down the most absurd stories. And it 2024 is coming in hot. I did not have Ian Ziering in a biker fight, on my bingo list, but maybe we will find Bigfoot this year. Fingers crossed. Have a great day, guys. Bye.